Who here thinks that being a good planner is important? Can I see hands? Yes? Right, most of us. It's an important skill, isn't it? In fact, it turns out the skill of planning falls under a larger category called life skills. I'm not talking about tying your shoes now, we had that earlier. But it turns out that most of these life skills are vital in our daily lives, but notoriously difficult to develop. So, what is the solution to really mastering these skills? Chess. I met the game of chess as a 6-year-old, and over the next 10 years grew into a top Dutch national chess player in my age category. And this is why I'm here. Oh, well, thank you. This is why I'm here, to explain how the skills I've learned from chess are helping me in my education and help me become a better learner. Right, the first skill I'd like to share with you today is the skill of time management, a skill that is of great importance to all of us, especially students. Splitting up time in between a social life and your school homework is one of our biggest challenges, right? Well, let me explain how chess is helping here. You see, in the game of chess, we have what's called a chess clock, a timer. Both players are given some initial amount of time, but once your time reaches 0, you lose the game regardless of how you were doing. This is why time management is of great importance during the chess games. We ask ourselves questions like, how much time would we spend to really find the best move? A lot of time or little? Or is it maybe a better idea to try and spend less time to find a reasonable alternative to the best move? And how much time would we spend to find the best quality? These are all questions which we as chess players ask. Then, also the initial amount of time you're given. In a speed chess game, both players are given only 2 minutes to start off with, which means, well, they end up playing something like this, right? But in a slower chess game, players are given up to as much as 2 hours each, in which case they play a lot slower. Time management, important. Now, let me bring it back to education here. Say you as a student are given math homework and French homework, and you're given 20 minutes to complete both. What would the quality of your work be? Interesting question, right? Now, say you had 2 hours to complete the same 2 tasks. Your quality would be different. Then, aside of that, we as students also have to think of how we're going to split up our time. If we have 2 hours, would we spend an hour for math and an hour for French? Or maybe an hour and a half for math and half an hour for French? Or vice versa? Or maybe even another way? These are all questions which I, as a chess player, have been able to answer. Right, speaking about decisions like that brings us very nicely to our second skill, the skill of decision making. Now, this is a skill that is of great importance to us students as well. Surely you agree with me that it's extremely important to be able to choose our subjects in our higher education because they lead to our further education in university and our job opportunities in the future. It's important, right? Well, chess has helped me here as well. Let me demonstrate. This is just a standard chess position, one from one of my games, as a matter of fact. And so when a chess player sees a position like this, he often notices several options to start off with. What should I do? Move the king? Maybe move the knight? Maybe move a pawn? Maybe a rook? These are all questions which we as a chess player have to answer. And so what we do is we make something which looks like this, a tree diagram. Now, each of these arrows represents what we in chess call a variation, a different move order. And so what we do, we analyze all the possibilities we have, look at them one by one, and then make the best decision making. Doesn't this sound very much like the way we choose our school subjects? We lay out all our options in front of us, math, physics, history, English, Dutch, and then we choose the one which seems like the best. Right, another thing I'd like to share with you goes hand in hand with this decision-making skill is called the process of elimination. You may have heard of it. Well, we as chess players often while analyzing notice that a certain move will definitely lose. So why would you play it if you're going to lose the game anyway? So what we do is we put this big red cross, as you can see over here, through those variations. We remove them from our tree. And what does that do? That limits our options. allows us to make a decision which has a higher chance of being correct. And so, fewer mistakes. I encourage all of you to do this as well. Use the decision-making tree. Use the tree diagram. Use the process of elimination. It really helps. Right, third and final skill, risk-taking. A skill that is really important to all of us too. In fact, let me lay out a scenario here. Say you as a student are given some guidelines by your teacher for a homework task, right? But you're going to be a bit rebellious and not follow the guidelines. You decide, I'm going to try something different, something new, something original. Well, two scenarios may occur. Number one, you get an excellent mark. Your teacher applauds you for your creativity. Your parents applaud you for your creativity. Your friends are like, oh my God, how did you do that? Right? Or the other end of the spectrum, yes, indeed, you get a terrible mark, you get shouted at by your teacher, you get shouted at by your parents, and your friends are just like, come on man, you serious? Right? So both of these things may occur. Now, chess is very much like this. We take risks as well in chess, and they lead to often incredible wins, satisfying victories, hard work victories, and other times they lead to catastrophic losses. See, in the game of chess, the types of risks we take are trading one advantage for another advantage. Sometimes we're willing to spend a lot of time in order to find the best move. Now, what is the advantage we're giving away here? Our time. As I said, time is of essence in the chess game. And the advantage we're gaining is a better position, higher chance to win. Now, this may lead to a win because, of course, if you have a better position, you can win. But if you lose on time, and there comes the risk. Should you do it? Should you not do it? Now, I encourage all of you to take risks. Make sure they're calculated risks, though, not reckless risks, because that's just stupid. Right? Take calculated risks. They really pay off. Let me give an example from my life. There was a subject in which, for one task, I decided not to follow the guidelines. Try something new, try something different. And as you can guess, it did not go that well. I got a terrible mark. But for 4 other tasks in the same subject, I took a risk, a calculated risk, of course, and I got an excellent mark. 4 versus 1. Good deal, isn't it? So the more risks you take, the greater your chance of these risks paying off, of you getting successful results, of you doing well in your education. I encourage all of you to take risks like these, calculated risks. They really pay off. Now, these 3 are just 3 of several skills. In fact, the ones right behind me are several more which chess all teaches. So chess really is a solution to mastering life skills. And in fact, chess even has several advantages over other sports. It's inexpensive. I mean, how much does a chessboard cost? My English teacher bought me one for 25 cents. Yeah? And it's portable. It can be played anywhere. You can take it with you. You have those mini portable magnetic ones. And aside of that, it's universal. Anyone can play it. It doesn't matter what age you are, what gender you are, or where you come from. And most importantly, and I'm going to emphasize this point to all of you today, chess is fun. Yes, it's really fun. Believe me, and I'm going to show you some evidence here. I mean, look at this. This is swim chess. This is a bunch of swimmers that are playing chess in the water. Great, interesting to try, isn't it? And you've got this. For the Dutch people over here, you may know chess is called schaken, and table tennis is called tafeltennis. Well, what happens when you merge the two together? You get schafeltennis. Easy, right? And so what you do here is you play table tennis and you play chess, and the winner on aggregate wins the tournament. Sounds great, right? And aside of that, I mean, come on, Will Smith, Katy Perry, that's seriously cool, is it not? So I encourage all of you to start playing chess so you can develop skills like the ones I have, so you can use them in your education and in your daily lives. They really help you and they really pay off. So play chess. I promise you won't regret it. Thank you.